Perfect. Yes, I love it. All right, Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And Hardcore Dave.
And this is Production Hell, everybody. We're bringing it back. Or I'm bringing it back. You have nothing to do with it.
First timer. Is this... Yeah. So is this episode 2, episode 3?
This is episode 3, yeah.
Oh,
and
nice.
And Production Hell is basically just like, hey, man, instead of putting all my focus and doing a lot of research and working a lot, writing, and coming up with a video that discusses one thing, I'm like, nah, let's just throw it all out there. Let's just talk, as long as it's generally about the challenge, all right? So I want to start off right away with Total Madness, the trailer. It came out. I don't really take too much for... Oh my God, Dave, you're texting.
I got a text. I got a reply. This is live, Vince. When you do a live show, sometimes texts happen, and the co-host will suddenly not be participating.
Yeah, and sometimes it's been established that I'm like, hey, cell phone's off. Go on. I mean, I realize right now I have my phone out, but that's because the notes are on it right now.
Well, fair enough. Just fill in. Okay. I'm saying goodnight to my girlpment. And
geez.
Then this was the last one.
Right,
the last text of the night.
We get it. You get laid on the rag. Okay.
That's right.
All right. So now, I just want to say though, Total Madness trailer dropped a couple days ago, and there's some cool parts about it. But the main thing that I took away from it was basically the elimination twist, in which TJ's like, oh, I'm tired and sick of people skating by and getting to finals, whatever, So now, in order to get to a final, you have to win an elimination. Now, with that being said, I had questions like, okay, so does that mean you have to go into elimination and once you win, straight shot to the final, or what? If that's the case, if you need to get to elimination, does that mean that when you win a mission, and this is for Total Madness again, if you win a mission, does that mean that, okay, now you get to choose who you go into elimination against? Is it going to be a guy and a girl winner each time, so they get to choose who they go against, or what? I got some questions about this. What do you got to say now that you finally put the phone down?
Well, yes, I did put the phone down. Well, I think I saw a semi-spoiler of what the winner is, whether it's a team, whether it's a person,
okay,
whether it's a guy or a girl, or a guy and a girl, or two guys and two girls. I saw that, so I feel like I know a little bit about the premise.
Shit.
Okay. So to me, having to win an elimination to make it to the final, what I hope it is that is just it seems kind of a thing that happened from this last season, kind of a blowback from it, where Rogan, I'm sure there's other people in this season, I haven't really thought about it too much.
CT.
But Rogan, CT, they made it to the final, they never had to go into elimination. Because
Cara, Polly.
Yeah, the alliances were so strong last year.
Right.
War of the Worlds 2 was a really good season, and I really enjoyed it. And it was weird that I enjoyed it, because at the same time I acknowledged the fact that I knew the entire time what was going to happen. I didn't know any spoilers, but we knew the alliances, how the votes were going to go. So almost every time we always knew what was going to happen, who was going to get voted in. Barring a few different things where Georgia got voted in. That was a bit of a surprise. But other than that, you kind of saw everything coming because it was all about the numbers. So now everyone's going to have to go to win an elimination to make it to the final. So I feel like that's going to be... hopefully, in my mind, in a perfect world, it's going to be everyone has to make it. You at least have to have one elimination win to make it to the final. So now people in the beginning of the season hopefully there's going to be like Bananas or CT or Wes is like, hey, this rookie right here, I want to go against him in elimination. Vote me in. And people are going to be they want to get voted in to go into elimination, get a win over some easy competitor right away. And then towards the end of the season, you're going to have people who they're begging to get voted into elimination because if they don't, and they don't by so-and-so episode, they're not going to go to the final because they never got to win an elimination.
Right.
So there's going to be people like fighting, whoever it is. It could be like Corey and Nelson or Corey and Bananas, like vote me in, trying to get the numbers on their side so that way they face somebody in elimination so that way they can make it to the final. But if they don't, then they'll be SOL. They'll be shit out of luck.
Well, yeah. Well, that's why I have the question of, will the mission winner then get first pick in elimination? Like, you win a mission, usually it's like, okay, now I'm safe from elimination, and I get to vote someone in. But what would be the point if you need, like, what would be the point of winning a mission if you can't then guarantee yourself in a final by putting yourself into elimination? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So if you win, that's the way hopefully it is. If you win a mission, if you're Johnny Bananas, you win the mission, you're first place. You can be like, hey, I'm going to go against new guy so-and-so. I don't know the cast that much. I don't remember the new people. But if he picks out somebody who thinks he can beat, you'd be like, hey, I want to face so-and-so because I won. I'm going to face him in an elimination. And if you win, you get the power to basically call out the elimination. So-and-so versus so-and-so. So if Jenna wins, she gets to go, okay, Kayla, you're going to face girl Anissa or something. Because Jenna doesn't like Kayla or something. She wants them to face each other. Right?
They're besties, Jenna and Kayla. Come on, man.
Are they?
Yeah. Remember.
I thought everybody hated Kayla. In my head,
no.
Everybody hates
well,
Kayla.
they do, but Jenna's her only friend. So you're kind of right. You're half right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're half wrong, especially.
The big half. But that would work. I like that premise that if you win your elimination, then you get the power to vote in both people. But on the challenge, it's probably going to be you can vote in one person, and then the majority will vote in the second person, right? Because that's usually the way it works.
Oh, I didn't think about that. For some reason, I pictured you get to choose them like the duel or War of the Worlds 1 style. You get to choose your opponent, but...
Or they could do it in the way where you win, you get an immunity idol, and you can keep it for yourself or give it to somebody else.
Yeah, but why would you ever keep it for yourself? Because you have to go into elimination. So, okay, well, after all that being said, doesn't it by math mean that you could have, if there's 30 competitors, that means we're going to have 15 in the final? Is that what we're...
No.
Well, how does it work then? How does it work if, like,
No.
Okay, the only way to get into a final is to go into elimination. That means that there's a finite amount of missions and a finite amount of eliminations. If you win one elimination, why go in again? You know what I mean? And even if someone wins and says, I want to get rid of Wes. Okay, say Bananas wins a mission, and he could put in whoever he wants. And he wants to put in Wes because he wants to actually get him eliminated. But wouldn't you rather just put yourself in against someone because you want to be able to get into that final? So I think, I don't know, it just seems like this is going to open up itself to a lot of finalists. Now, that being said, you already know something about the winners. What is this major spoiler here?
It's not a major spoiler. All I know is because I read this because I was wondering if the final will have like a team win, as it will be a team of 5 or a team of 2 or a team of 1.
So you were out to get fucking spoiled.
No,
if
I
you're
wasn't.
looking up
No.
information.
I have unfollowed every challenger from Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Like, I took myself out of that because I ended up getting spoiled for a couple seasons ago. I don't remember. It was like Invasion of the Champions or...
Every time we record, you always reveal at the end, oh, I knew who was going to win. I'm like, God damn it. Like,
yeah, like Dirty 30. Like, you know, when I saw Jordan like trip on his parachute and hit the ground and he hurt his knee, and like, I knew he was going to win. But this time, I don't know any of that. All I know is that there is... It's not a big spoiler at all. It's barely a spoiler. It's that at the end of the season, there is one guy winner and one girl winner. Okay. So it is not teams. It's probably solo, I would assume.
Okay.
Unless it's guy-girl. It could be pair. It could be guy-girl teams.
Okay.
But it seems like it's probably guys and girls, and it's solo winners. Because there's a guy winner and a girl winner.
Like
whether they're a team, I don't know.
Perhaps.
Maybe. Yeah. I think... I don't know how many people are in this cast. If there's 30 or 32, it's got to be whatever. It's split 50-50 guys and girls. I think for each week, you're going to have there's probably, I would assume, 15 or 16 episodes per season. Figure 1 elimination per episode, maybe. Or there's 2 eliminations per episode if they do a guy and a girl, or if they alternate weeks. Sometimes they alternate weeks, which I'm not a fan of. Because it slows the season down a little bit.
And if it's not a girl elimination, guys just fucking don't give a shit, and vice versa.
Yeah. Exactly. Because that's what we had last year, where it was like, well, it's girls elimination this week. We're just gonna tank the mission, and we're not gonna care.
Yep.
You have to have them have something invested. Everyone has to be invested in every mission.
Yeah. Because
the missions. As much as we love to talk about the eliminations and who gets eliminated, the missions are super important to every season. It's super important. And when someone doesn't care or they're phoning it in and they're just, whatever, that it makes for a shitty episode or a shitty competition when you have a certain side that doesn't give a shit and they're just going to let the other team win. Mm. So you can't do that. I feel like it has to be a guy elimination, girl elimination every episode. And if you have 15 guys, 15 girls, people will, say Johnny Bananas makes it to an elimination. He beats Joe Blow or somebody, whoever it is. So he could get voted in again to go again, but it would probably be like, hey, maybe the alliance numbers are like, hey, we don't want Corey to come back. We want Corey gone. And Bananas, we want you to get rid of him. So he could go in a second time to basically get rid of somebody, take them out, right?
Right.
That could be possible. Where it won't be just a person going in once. They could go in twice. Or people will be wanting to get in, but they can't.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the other thing. I was like, well, okay, what if the people in power say you win a mission and you get to pick your own elimination, and maybe you get to pick you're the matchup or whatever, right?
Ooh, yeah, you get to.
So you could totally not allow someone to go into elimination, to even have a chance to get into a final. Now that also opens up a whole other possibility of, okay, does everyone remember the stupid ass purges? And the purges, where everyone just goes in and someone's gonna get eliminated. You know what I mean?
You have 8 competitors and 3 or 4 people are going home no matter what, or 6 people are going home.
But okay, so in this case though, that means everyone finally gets to have a chance to go to the final by going into a shitload of eliminations. Just people are gonna just get thrown in no matter what. So maybe they don't have a say in who they go against, but they will definitely have a 50-50 shot of going into that final. That's why I'm thinking, I'm like, well, how many people are going to be in this fucking final? That's why I keep on thinking, what if there's if there's 30 competitors, what if in some weird way you get 15 people going to the final, So that's, I mean, it's a whole new world, to quote Aladdin.
I mean, yeah, to quote Aladdin.
Yeah.
It would be great to have that many people in a final, and I'm not opposed to that. I mean, that seems like a little much. I would think for like,
It's
if
kind
you're
of
doing guys
but...
versus girls,
yeah,
maybe, like 6 guys, 6 girls, or
that's
something
not
for the
bad,
final.
Yeah, it's not
But
bad.
I think for when it comes to the eliminations, they could definitely do 1 guy elimination and 1 girl elimination per episode.
Yeah.
Because last season, they started the new thing of doing an hour-and-a-half episode. Once you do a 90-minute episode, that's what they did right last year, because in many years past, they always cut it off with these incomplete episodes, where all of a sudden it was like right before the elimination, they're like, well, you'll see next time, the part 2 of the elimination. Yeah. And then your next episode starts with an elimination and then builds up to an elimination, and then that one's cut in half too. And then you're like, watch the next. Like, if they're going to do an hour-and-a-half episodes, which is perfect, that way you can get in the mission, you can get in all the beginning of the episode is kind of the post-drama, the fallout from the previous episode. Mm-hmm. You have the next mission. Then you have the whole, all the drama that comes before a vote. Yeah. Then you have the vote. Then you have the next elimination, or 2 eliminations, 1 for guys and 1 for girls. You can fit it all into 90 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be perfect. I really hope they do that, because that was something from last year which really made me love last year. I mean, there was problems with last year because it was super predictable. But I didn't even care.
That was just from
predictable.
It was just from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
It was fine because it was like, oh, we get to see full episodes. I get to see an elimination every week. And if they could do it where they get an elimination, and it's a guy elimination and girl elimination, that would be ideal. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but it seems like this premise could be setting up for that. Hopefully.
Yeah. Quick question about... Okay, so was last year the first 90-minute episode season?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay, so if that's the case, then... Yeah, because War of the Worlds 1, they didn't do any to be continued until the very last 5 episodes.
Yeah, they kind of teased it. It was just we're just doing complete episodes. And they did it for the first 8 episodes. At the very end of the season, they just started to... Oh, to be continued. To be continued.
But they didn't do it too often last season because they had 90-minute episodes, right? So yeah, that's good.
I feel like production was getting, they were realizing the complaint, because we have reviewed so many seasons of the challenge, from Bloodlines to Rivals 3, to, Dirty 30, Vendettas. So many times, us complaining about an episode was just how it was produced and put together, where the end of the episode is cut off.
Yeah.
And then you get an incomplete episode. And it was it just all falls on editing, where it's like, hey, you know what? This whole bar scene where they went out to the bar and nothing really happened, but... Yeah. Oh, we're going to have Tony at the bar, and Tony's going to be talking to the girl that he's currently with, and then they'll start crying, and then we'll show somebody else, and then they get into a fight, and then it's this is all worthless. Nobody cares about this. We watched the challenge. I watched the challenge, in part for the drama, but not for the majority of it. I watch to see who the best competitor is, who gets the votes. The only drama I care about is the voting drama, the politics behind the voting. That's the stuff that I get invested in the eliminations, obviously. But it's the drama that's just from relationships and people cheating on so-and-so. I mean, that's part of the challenge because they're all living in the same house, but that doesn't need to be a major focus of an episode. Yeah. That's a sidebar. That shouldn't be well, we're making a 2-part episode because so-and-so was making out with so-and-so on the bus. Yeah. Who cares?
Especially if any of those little moments doesn't affect the overall game of the season. That's what bothers me the most. Like if two people are like, oh my God, they finally hooked up and there's 20 minutes on that subject. Yet that has nothing to do with eliminations, nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with anything. You're like, it was kind of a waste of time. And it won't even pan out later. You know what I mean? Like that's the worst shit. So, yeah. Okay, so on to the next thing. Are you ready? Okay. So, disease, Dave.
Disease?
It's been in the headlines lately. We're not going to talk about coronavirus directly, but I will say...
Well, since you brought it up, I will talk about it
Okay,
directly.
all right. That's fine.
No, just continue. I was joking.
No. I wasn't willing to hear. I mean, if you guys don't remember, I've referenced this before. Dave is in the medical field.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Well, I work in X-ray. I work in an X-ray department, so I do X-rays and CT scans. But I was talking with coworkers.
CT. Yeah, he works.
CT.
He works right with
Chris
CT.
Tamburello,
Yeah.
whatever his last name is.
Dr. Tamburello.
Yeah.
To you, right?
I was saying, I'm like, if there's a major outbreak, and like coronavirus goes viral, so to say, and everyone has it, like, because I do X-ray, like anytime somebody has a respiratory illness, which the coronavirus is a respiratory illness, a lot like the flu. We have to give someone a chest X-ray to see if they have pneumonia, to see if they have fluid building up in their lungs, because that's very crucial to the health of a patient. If a bunch of people start coming into the hospital with coronavirus, they got masks on, I gotta wear masks, like I'm susceptible to getting this virus, like, do I quit my job? Do I just feel like, no, I work in X-ray as a job, but is this my civil duty? Am I like a firefighter? Do I have to run into the burning building to save lives?
And there's like children crying, yeah.
Yeah, like, do I have to? Because I don't want to expose myself to a virus. Maybe I'll just quit my job. Because you know what? I've been poor before. I can go back to being poor. I could be like Frank from It's Always Sunny and be like, you know
I'm
what?
gonna live in squalor.
Yes. I'm gonna quit my job. I'll just, I'll go back to being a cook at Buffalo Wild Wings. No offense. I did that. It was fine. And I was happy. It was fine. I got lots of good free food. But that way, I won't be exposed to a virus. Do I want to work in a field where I'm exposed to a virus? Am I obligated to still work there even though I could... I'm putting myself at huge risk, and not only myself, but my family members.
Yeah. And
I feel like I want to quit. If everyone's coming in with coronavirus, I feel like I want to quit. I'm gonna walk away. Be like, you know what? I'm gonna take a leave of absence. Once this whole thing blows over, I'll come back in a year. Right? That won't be looked down upon.
I think we've had 12 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Wisconsin. So
yeah,
I believe
only one death though, right?
I didn't know about the death.
Yeah, there was one. Well,
in Wisconsin?
I don't know.
I know someone died in Washington. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 12 deaths total in the U.S. But that was... I read that like 4 days ago, so that's probably old news.
So maybe 12 cases in Wisconsin. I got confused with 12 deaths in the U.S. I don't know.
Maybe.
Not sure.
That's the problem with coronavirus. You read all these stats, every website, every article is something different. Some of them are like, be terrified, it's the end of the world. Other ones, it's like Donald Trump, like, don't worry, it's all under control. We're not calling a state of emergency. It's all going to be blown over. It's not big. If you have coronavirus, just go into work. You'll be fine. Like, that's what he said.
Sneeze on people
he
while
said,
you
just go into work. And it was just like, well, I don't know. Maybe
I mean, just in general, even if you're not, even if you don't have coronavirus, don't go into work when you're fucking sick. I mean, come on, it's annoying. I mean, you can. Sometimes it's like, hey, fucking show up for work. But in some cases, like my ex-job, they were like, no, don't fucking, no. If you're sick, yeah, it sucks that we're going to have to get
And
people to work for you,
yeah.
but get the fuck out of here.
And
like,
people always abuse the calling in to work sick.
Yeah.
What I would do, and this is probably wrong, but I would show up to work sick. And I'd be like, I really don't feel well. And I'd tell them, and you could see that I look. I look like death.
So you want to show them?
Yeah.
Okay,
so that way I can be like, I look like death. Yeah. I'm coughing. I don't look good. I don't feel good. I'm like, if I can go home, if you guys are good, I will. I always put it on them. Like, if you want me to stay, I will stay, because I don't want to be the person who calls in sick all the time.
Right.
Because that's not me. Like, I like to reserve my sick days for when I'm feeling 100% well and I want to do something fun. It's like, you know what? I'm feeling fantabulous today. I'm calling into work and I'm going to the beach. It's going to be great. Like, that's me. Yeah. Like, when I'm legit sick, I'm like, I'm showing up to work, and then I'll show them how deathly ill I am. Then they'll just be like, get the hell out of here. Why did you come here? Like, go home. And I'm like, okay. And then I don't feel bad about it. There's no guilt of calling in. You know, but I am contaminating the office.
Right, yeah. This was all, by the way, a segue, but this was all of a sudden turned into a huge chapter of the podcast. But I was just trying to say, coronavirus, it's here. There's a thing called disease, sickness. Segue into Frank Sweeney in Free Agents, who was sick, right? For the casual viewer, he was taken out of Free Agents in episode 3 for being sick. They just kicked him out.
Was it tuberculosis? Did they say?
TB?
Maybe that's what Doc Holliday had.
Oh, consumption, right?
Yeah. He had to move out to Arizona, the dry air.
Tombstone, Arizona for the no, okay, so if you pay attention enough, you could watch an interview with Frank where he's like, I was sick the whole fucking time, and yeah. But if you even watch the video, confessions of Frank, his voice is like this. Yeah, so, it's nasally because he's clearly sick. Yep. You will be able to pick up on that over repeated viewings. So, the thing is, the reason why I bring this up is because production can be full of shit sometimes. Free Agents was the very first season ever to introduce random lottery eliminations, right? Which is, okay, whatever. Now, in hindsight, fine, whatever. If you want to do a twist on if you want to go against the grain.
Did they pull it out of a hat?
No. It was 5 wooden boards, cards or whatever, and you would flip it, and if it had the skull on it, that means that was the kill card. You had to go into elimination, right?
Yeah, okay. That's right.
So that was the big twist of the whole fucking elimination. Oh my god, random eliminations. But what the production didn't count on was that Frank was sick, really sick apparently. So what they did was fix it that he would go into the first elimination against Chet. If you remember, Frank was at the end of the line in terms of flipping cards over. And in Free Agents, it was like 5 people sometimes in elimination flipping cards, whatever. So Frank was always put at the end of the line. I always wondered, like, is it random? Like, who determines who gets to flip first? It's not like they did better in missions before, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was always just like, what the fuck? So anyways, first elimination, first episode. Chet is put in there. Frank is put into the people that have to draw the cards. Frank he actually doesn't get to draw at all. I don't believe he does. It's just, because the person that flips the card, they're like, oh my god, I'm safe. That means, Frank, you're going in. So Frank's like, okay. Episode 2, he gets rid of Chet. In episode 2, he's again put into the people that draw the cards, and he's again the last person to get to draw. And
So out of like the 13 people on his team, he's randomly one of the 5.
yeah, I don't remember how
flip
that
a
worked
card?
though necessarily. But still, so the person before him, draws the card. That's safety, and he kind of looks at her and he's like, "Oh, me again." But you have to see the performance, the way he says it, kind of like, "Oh, really?" Like it's kind of sarcastic, like, "Oh, me again. What are the odds?" That sort of thing, right?
Yeah, because he knows that he's being set up to be put in.
Yes, and he goes against Dustin, who is a fucking beast. I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember him, but Dustin
I
was
was a
great.
big fan of Dustin.
Yes, and they go into the breaking the wall thing. Frank beats him by a microsecond. So again, episode 3, before the mission even starts, they're like, "Hey, Frank, you're sick. Get the fuck out of here." He's kicked out, right?
Just like TJ's like, "Hey Frank, I've heard you're sick. Turns out you gotta go home."
Yeah, but the truth is, production knew Frank was sick, and they wanted him out of there. And what made it worse is that for the first time ever, they were trying to introduce random lottery eliminations, but they actually fixed it at least for the very first 2 eliminations. Right? What are the fucking odds? You know, like, it's crazy.
MTV production shenanigans.
Yeah, there you go. That should be a show in itself.
Yeah,
Production
and
shenanigans.
that was Frank coming off of Battle of the Seasons, right?
No,
Or,
he won seasons.
Yeah.
Then he came in second in Rivals 2.
Yeah.
But only because Bananas was like dragging ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. He lost final.
Well, CT and West were also just an amazing team at the time. But still,
I mean,
Bananas
there's no
didn't
shame
help.
in losing to CT and West.
Yeah, but there is a shame on Bananas for being that goddamn slow and shit like that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then there's this. This is a third showing for Frank, who was the new guy in town. Basically, he was third showing in the challenge.
Yep.
Won once, got second.
And this was individual.
Yeah.
And I remember when he was like he was kind of like crying and shit when he had to leave, and you could hear the sickness. He's like, "Hey man, you just saw the winner walk away right now." Yep. And I totally believe him. He could have totally beat Bananas in a final.
It was crazy.
He already did.
It was crazy because watching that season, I was like, well, we just saw the winner leave right now.
Yeah.
So the rest of the season is kind of tainted.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. I've always wanted to bring it up, and I'm glad I'm able to now.
I don't think he was contagious. I don't know. Dude, I've never heard an official diagnosis.
Yeah.
But you know what? If they were going to send him home because of his sickness, they probably should have done it episode 1 when he was first showing symptoms. Instead, they left him in the house for at least a week and then decided to send him home. So you know what? He was already exposed to everyone in the house for multiple days, a week, and then they kick him out for having the illness. It's like, well, he's already been exposed to everyone, so you're not saving anyone from exposure. You're just sending someone home at this point.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, hey, he'll never really come back. Yeah, he'll never really come back, and not only until a mercenary years later. All right, so next thing I want to mention is you actually brought this up, and it might not even be relevant now that I think about it, but you were just like, before we recorded, you were like, must we have only trilogies now? Come on, like
of course this is relevant.
We had the Revenge trilogy, and then in between that we had the Champs versus Pros trilogy, or versus Stars trilogy, and now we've had this War of the Worlds trilogy. But don't you think Total Madness kind of flies in the face of that? Like, to me, I feel like because the rumored title was Battle for Independence. That's clearly trilogy.
War of the Worlds Part 3, but we're not going to call it War of the Worlds 3, but it's the same theme.
Kind of like Bloody Hell, right?
Yeah.
War of the Worlds 2 was originally called Bloody Hell, or going to be. So they changed it. But I think if they went to Total Madness over Battle for Independence, we could be looking at a Rivals 2 scenario where like Rivals 2 was heavily rumored to be a duel, but then they changed it into a Rivals 2. There's another scenario where they changed it right away. I don't remember exactly. But so anyways, do you think this is going to be a trilogy, or from what we've heard, it sounds like it's a totally different format, right?
So
No?
it does sound totally different because to me it seems like the trilogy of it. In the cast is Turbo in this cast? No. So Turbo's not there.
What the fuck? He isn't. That is weird.
Okay, yeah, that is weird. So that makes it seem, but because we had Dirty 30, and then we had Vendettas, and then Final Reckoning.
Yes.
And that was a trilogy. And then we had War of the Worlds 2, and then we have this one, and we have not seen, what is it called? What is this new season called? Total Madness. Total Madness.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that Total Madness is just part 3 of War of the Worlds. Because after watching the trailer, you see tanks, you see all this war, you see bunkers, and it's all like war themed. So it seems like it's the third part of this war type of War of the Worlds trilogy.
Yeah.
Why do we have to see a trilogy every time? Like, we've seen this, like, and it's like the MTV is taking it straight out of Hollywood, trying to make sequels and trilogies. I liked it before, where it was just every season, it could be a sequel, but it wasn't just to the previous thing. Like, you could have Battle of the Axis 2, or Rivals 2, or Rivals 3. You could have the Duel 2. You know, like, you can have a continuing series, but don't do it back to back. So it seems like we're just piggybacking off of the last challenge.
Right.
Like, I want to see Cutthroat 2. You know? That would be awesome. Like, I think fans have been asking for a long time to see another Cutthroat. And this season does kind of look like a Cutthroat.
It totally does. It's the same place. It's Czech Republic. Czech Republic.
Yeah.
In Prague. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping that it's just its own thing and it's not a trilogy. But I mean, and a lot of it is just going to come down to the editing by MTV and how much they're incorporating what happened last year. And by TJ saying like, hey, if you don't win an elimination, you won't be in the final. That's really referencing last year, and it's tying this season to last year. And I'm not against don't being in elimination or don't be in a final if you have been in elimination. I'm fine with that rule, but I don't know. I was kind of hoping this year would be, you know, Battle of the Axis 3, you know, Rivals 4, Cutthroat 2, Duel 3. Like, I like calling back to those old formats because I think a lot of those are really good. And there's, you know, Battle of the Seasons. There's lots of different ones. There's one I'm forgetting. It wasn't Cutthroat. It was
Island. Are you one of those
There's
assholes
Island?
that want Island 2? I mean, come on. It was terrible.
No, I was thinking about the Island. When I heard about the premise for this season, I was thinking it could be like the Island. Because on the Island, you had teams who were like, at the end, had to decide who would be together on their team for the final. And that could happen in this year. Because you have to win an elimination to make it to the final.
Yeah, you had to
so
have a
the
key.
team or the alliance would have to be like, hey, we're going to send these two people from our alliance in against each other, and the winner will come back and they'll be part of our team. So, you know, it would be like Evelyn versus Paula, but for the belt, for the key to make it to the final. So, I mean, this season could be really great in that aspect.
Yeah.
I'm like, that type of dynamic could be really awesome. And I hope it is.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see it fall into that groove of War of the Worlds 3. That's what I'm afraid of. But I don't know, because we haven't seen it. It comes out April 1st, I think it said. April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day.
Which I was a little leery of. I'm like, do I really believe it? It's coming out that day.
But you can't, it's not a joke if you say it way beforehand. Like, it's going to be April Fool's Day, so it can't be a
It just happens to be a Wednesday, or a Tuesday, or a Thursday, or whatever
Wednesday.
Day.
Wednesday,
okay.
yeah. So, okay, so with the trilogy, who knows? Can I really quickly tell you my idea for a challenge?
Yeah. Well, like, what do you mean? Like,
for
your
a
own season?
For a whole, yeah. Just real broad strokes. I just want to put it out there because I've been meaning to do this for a while. Okay, so,
all right. Hang on. Let me set this up.
Okay.
Producer Vince.
Yes.
You get to set up the dynamic for the next season of the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
The one after Total Madness, whatever that may be.
Yes. After they're done with trilogies, this is
the start of a new trilogy, right? Or just its own standalone, which I'm fine with too.
It can be a trilogy in a sense, but okay. Well, let me just say this. Okay, so the trailer, you put it on, and there's a bunch of new fresh meat people. You've never seen them, right? You've never seen them before.
Yep.
And there's a mix of some alumni, some vets, and they're all like, okay, so it all depends on who's leading us. They're gonna help us through missions. They're gonna help us through eliminations. These are our leaders, and it's gonna be very Ultimate Fighter style. It's called Coaches. Again, a working title. It could be called something else. Coaches : Bananas versus Wes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's like UFC, the Ultimate Fighter.
Yes.
Where you have Chael Sonnen versus Quentin Rampage Jackson or whoever, hypothetical fighters.
Right.
And then they both are coaching their team. So
yes,
Bananas and Wes are the coaches of their team.
Yes.
But they don't compete. They're just to coach.
Yes.
They're just there.
Right.
For their competitors.
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to help in elimination, and they could win as a captain. They can assist in elimination, but they won't compete personally. Or maybe they can. Who knows? But either way, they're both going to be in that final, running with their team that they've built.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes. Okay, so they'll coach the entire season.
Yes.
They'll coach their squad up. They'll get their team of 4 or 5 or 3 people at the end.
Who knows?
Whatever it is. And then you have Bananas and Wes as a coach, and then they will become part of the team for the end.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Isn't that great?
This is brilliant. Awesome. I've never heard this before. I love it. Oh my goodness. Take my money, Vince. Just take piles of money. I'll watch it.
Because what's the thing? The main thing that people have started to talk about when it comes to rivals, why isn't Wes and Bananas put together? Well, you know what? I agree. Why aren't they put together? That would be a great big attraction event to see these two work together.
Yeah.
But what do producers know better? It's better to have them compete against each other.
Yeah.
So this is the ultimate thing. Fucking Team Bananas versus Team Wes. People would tune in for that shit, man.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking A, man. That's a huge fucking idea stolen from Ultimate Fighter. So, there you go. Yeah.
That's great. I would love that.
That'd be awesome.
If you do that, if you do Wes versus Bananas, that is like Attitude Era, like 1999. Vince McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, or Stone Cold versus The Rock.
Yeah.
Like, it's, Ali versus Frazier, Ali versus Foreman. Like two of the best there is against each other. That would be great.
Yeah. I think it sounds awesome.
Because if you're going to have Wes and Bananas come back, why not have them come back, but then let them draft their teams? You can do a fresh meat opening episode where they do like a combine of different things where they have to put together puzzles. They have to go over, jumping hurdles, jumping walls, racing, endurance, puzzles, strength. And then both guys get to pick, and they alternate, guy, girl, guy, girl, guy, girl.
Yep.
Like, their picks who they're going to pick. It would be great.
Oh, it'd be awesome. Okay, so all that, people would tune in. It would be so fucking watchable because you have both Wes and Bananas in every episode. That's the center conflict.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can't be eliminated.
Yeah, so even after that, after we determine who ultimately wins that rivalry, you could have the next season be Cara and Laurel. You know what I mean? There's so many fucking coaches that you could pair up. The ultimate showdown. You know what I mean? Like, it'll
Ultimate Showdown. The challenge.
Ultimate showdown. There you go. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
Vince, are you gonna complain in 2 years when this is on TV? Don't.
Yeah, because
MTV,
they're not gonna,
please take this free of
they're
charge.
not
Take
gonna,
our idea.
Yeah, because
We don't care.
they copied Bill Simmons for Rivals, didn't they?
Did they?
Right? I thought that he came up with. No, he said frenemies, but they took
frenemies.
Right? Yeah. So
people are enemies. Yeah.
The challenge coaches. That's the closest thing I have to a title, basically. Yeah. Or Ultimate Showdown, but
it's great.
Yeah. I like it a lot. Okay, so that's awesome. Can you name another coaches that would be awesome? Wes, Bananas, Laurel, Cara.
I don't know, lesser stage, Polly and Kyle, but no, not really.
That is definitely lesser stage.
Maybe Bear and Georgia in like 5 years when they're washed up. And
that's like X's Ultimate Showdown, Ultimate Marriage.
I mean, it's MTV. We can't rule it out.
Ultimate Divorce. I don't know. Yeah, really. That would be a twist. If you put, who's the biggest couple that never got along?
Anissa and Corey. Well, Diem's not here anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so the other thing I want to mention real quick is, can Jordan be the new Bananas and get 7 wins? I mean, think about it. How many seasons did Bananas do to get his 6 wins? And look at the fucking tear that Jordan's on right now. He's back again this season. He's already won 3. He could easily just do this a couple more years, 2 challenges per, 2 seasons per year. He could easily get to 7 wins and be the new face of the challenge.
Do you know how many challenges it took Bananas to get to 6?
Fuck. I don't fucking know.
Like
I want to say
or 12. 11, 12,
that's
13.
Tough.
It was
that's
in that
tough.
range.
Yeah, something like that, right? And Jordan's only done 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like, I have no idea.
Jordan could totally be the new face of the challenge. I mean, think of it. Bananas has been on American Dad. He's been a host of NBC's First Look. He's gone on to be in Kevin Smith's Jay and Silent Bob reboot. He, there's so much shit that he's gotten to do just because he happened to be the most winning challenger. And it's bullshit. All right? CT should be that guy. Wes can be that guy. It's just Bananas just happens to win a lot. That's about it.
Wow, Bananas has nothing better to do in his free time.
Yeah. I'm just saying, Jordan, okay, he comes back. He's already won 3, right?
Yeah.
He comes back for this one. He could win again. That's 4. He's tied with Darrell. So next year, 2021, he could win the next 2. And he'll surpass Bananas.
Yeah.
I think Jordan could be the next poster boy of the challenge. I mean, he's got a lot of the great attributes. You know what I mean? He can be.
Absolutely. Like, when I look at this year, Total Madness, when I look at the roster, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, there's Bananas, Wes, CT, Jordan. I'm looking at the rest of the people, and I'm just like, well, number 1 favorite has to be Jordan. Based off of, World War II, that's it last season. Jordan is by far the favorite. Number 2 is CT. And then Bananas and Wes, they're in that middle ground with the rest of the challengers. I don't feel good about Wes or Bananas any more than I do about like Nelson or hell, even any of these newbies that are out there that I don't know anything about. Like Bear, I might feel better about Bear than Bananas and Wes. Joss is not in this season, which I think is a shame because Joss is really good, and I would totally pick Joss as a winner over Bananas or Wes. I'm like, to me, it's just like CT and Jordan are the top two favorites, like no doubt. And for the girls, I have no idea because Cara's not back, and Cara is always like a favorite for the girls, and Laurel's always a favorite, and neither of them are back. So for the girls side of things, it's totally wide open.
Yeah, that's true.
I like Jordan. I think Jordan has to be a huge favorite. If you're looking at like the Vegas odds, which is not a thing because the season is pre-recorded. You can go on if you Google it, you can find out who wins.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
We do not know. We have not Googled it because I've pulled the blinders on myself. I unfollowed everyone from Twitter. I don't go on Vevmo or whatever it's called. I do not look up the spoilers because I don't want to know. But I have to imagine that Jordan would be a favorite.
Yeah, he's on his way. I mean, he can. He typically goes on a challenge, does this thing, then takes off, comes back, takes off, comes back. Now he's returning again, which is kind of a surprise. So, like I said, I think his motivation is to be like, hey, I'm going to be the new champ. You know what I mean? Champ. The 7-time champion. You know? He could totally do it. He could fucking do it. And
so did Jordan and Tori, did they get married already? Is this their honeymoon this season?
I hope not. I was planning on barging in and banging on the windows like, Tori! No! Like, I was going to totally rip off The Graduate. Yeah.
Maybe this season is like their bachelorette party. Right? I think
Tori's going to be walking around with a giant inflatable penis, right?
And Jordan will have, a handful of inflatable boobs.
A handful? Why not 2 handfuls?
Just 1 handful. That's enough. And then, they can have a bachelorette party. And then Bananas can not invite someone. Or Jordan cannot invite someone. Just like, when Cara didn't want to be invited to the party.
Jesus
she uninvited
Christ.
herself from, it's like, this is fake. It's just for TV. And it's like, Cara, have you watched television for the last 3 years? Because I believe everything you do is fake and just made up for TV.
Is Cara Maria Henry Cejudo in terms of the cringe master? You know
Far
what I mean?
worse.
But there's a comparison, right? Whereas like Cejudo, talented. Cara, talented. But they're so hard to watch. You know what I mean? But Cejudo, that's on purpose. He wants to be that guy. Because it's like publicity is better than no publicity at all. Cara Maria is just cringeworthy all the time. She always has been. She, I wish she had a sense of humor about herself, but she really doesn't, So, yeah.
Cara Maria is closer to like a Michael Bisping or something, where you can look at singular performances by them and be like really impressed. Be like, yes, they're really good. But then there's certain parts of their career where you're like, wow, that is really shameful. That is terrible. You're like, whether you're ducking a fight like Bisping or Cara, just
her eye wandering towards Kyle, that's a huge problem.
her saying she's over Kyle and being with Paulie.
I don't think you got the Bisping comparison with the eye wandering thing.
Yes, the eye wandering.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
She's with Paulie, but her eye is wandering towards Kyle the entire time. That's what you're saying, and you're spot on. Because Cara, like, no matter what good she does, she always kind of does something that kind of nullifies it in a lot of ways.
I think Cara Maria is like I mean, she. What's the comparison? Is she the Amanda Nunes? Is she? What is she? Because she's very powerful. She has alliances. She wins a lot. She gets to finals how many times in a row now? She's broken a record, right? What is she? Like like I need to compare her to someone, because fuck, if you bring her stats in with other women throughout the challenges, my favorites, Evelyn, Veronica, Laurel, Coral, Jody. You know what I mean? Like, Cara Maria has slowly elbowed her way into the conversation. You know what I mean? She won't go away.
Has she 12
to
6
6
elbowed?
Totally
like
12
John
to 6.
Jones?
Jesus Christ, yes.
Is she
She's
John
constantly
Jones?
coming in with her fingers at your fucking eyes.
Eye pokes. 12 to 6 elbows.
What was it called? Inner thigh kick. What is that called? I don't remember what it's called. Holly Holm does it as well. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, the
super extension of the something.
Yeah, the knee. Those oblique kicks that go right to your kneecap. Yes. Trying to dislocate your knee.
I'm just saying, I think Cara Maria, there's so much hate for her, but it's like, take that away. She's like becoming one of the best female challengers of all time. I mean, I don't want to admit it. I don't fucking like her. But like, if you compare her to Evelyn, and although Evelyn is still the all-time queen, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think Evelyn is better.
Cara Maria is fucking getting there, man.
Yep.
Because she won't stop. You know, the reason why Evelyn might not always be number one is because eventually she fucking stopped doing the show. She started living a life, god damn it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, same with like Johnny Bananas. That's why Johnny Bananas is known as the best ever guy. Is because he has no other life and he's just stuck around and done it forever.
Yeah, he's never stopped.
But there's other people where you're like, well, shit, if Derek did it forever or if Darrell did it forever, they would have. If CT didn't take, CT took off like 3-4 years, or didn't compete, and if he didn't retire, he would have been the greatest of all time. But he did. So, Cara, I think, is kind of like John Jones in UFC terms.
Ooh.
But I was complaining to you before about how on the female side of things, and it's not just the female side of things, it's also the men's side of things, where, like, new talent, they'll come around, but then they don't stick around, or it's like the old guard that is Cara Maria and Johnny Bananas, they don't get a whole lot of competition, because, like, Bananas, his competition was Tony, and then what do? They made Tony his partner, and Bananas' competition was Devin, and what did? Devin won, and then they just kicked him off the challenge and don't let him back. Like, we have not seen Devin in like 3 years now, because Devin one-upped Bananas so bad. Like
3 seasons. Remember, there's 2 seasons per year. I've noticed you lump up seasons for years. I'm like, no, man.
Tomato.
I just want to throw that out there.
That's true.
Yeah.
But there's guys like Devin that, like, he destroyed Bananas, but then they don't let him back on the challenge anymore. And Bananas, he had a whole gripe with it with production, and he was like, hey, I don't want to go against these guys like Devin and Hunter and Corey and Nelson, because they always gang up on me. The young bloods or new bloods or whatever they were called.
Yeah, young bucks.
Yeah, so then he had his own season like created so that he wasn't going to get ganged up on. Where he changed the whole like dynamic of the season. It was like, oh, good job. Like, you've eliminated your competition.
Yeah. Okay. Well, going back to Cara Maria, I mean, I just feel like, yeah, she's same thing like Bananas, like just kind of never going away. The only exception to that rule is Anissa, who refuses to go. Yet she cannot win. I mean, she's good in elimination. I mean, she's fair. Now, she's probably one of the better eliminators. Still, though, that's the one thing she's depending on. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to end this episode talking about Anissa.
No, she's not worthy.
No. So one more thing. Let's go off on a high note, Dave. Let's see here. I have Space Jam Challenge. Who stars? Oh,
Space
terrible.
Jam.
I was gonna. Okay, I think if the challenge got its own Space Jam thing, where they're like, apparently, the challenge grew in popularity, and people are like, "Oh my god, the challenge!" And there's songs, there's whatever. It's a huge sport finally, right? ESPN style, and they're like, "Okay, we want to pick one person to co-star with these Looney Tunes participating in a challenge. Who is the star? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, whatever. Who is it?"
I would assume it has to be Bananas, right?
Are
Because
you
Bananas
kidding?
is
So even though you disagree, I mean, I don't
he has the
think
most wins though.
yeah, but who
statistically
cares?
on paper.
Who cares? I don't get that. I don't give a fuck if he's the most winningest person. To me, his personality is nothing. There's nothing there to offer anyone. Like I said, CT. Put CT in a fucking movie.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying, as Hollywood Dave,
No.
as a producer, I'm going to be like, I don't want CT, I want Bananas. He's a bigger name.
Okay, so
He's
then
gonna
you
draw
will
the
put
numbers.
Bananas. You will put Bananas and Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good poster, actually.
But you know what?
Bananas.
The Monstars are going to win this round because the Monstars are going to be CT and Jordan and Wes and Derek. And they're all going to gang up on him.
Jesus
and he's going to
Christ.
beat the shit out of Bananas and all those fucking squirrely Looney Tunes and Elmer Fudd. They can take it and shove it up their ass.
The Monstars stole their power from other basketball players, if you remember.
That's right.
these 5 Monstars would steal their powers from other people. So they would steal powers from Wes, CT, right?
Yep. Jordan.
Jordan. Jarrell.
Derek.
I was going to say Landon.
Landon? Yes, Landon.
Yes.
We haven't mentioned Landon. It's not a Dave and Vince
have
podcast without mentioning Landon.
So
Fresh Meat 2, baby.
Those 5. And Bananas is the Michael Jordan to that Space Jam. It's terrible. Oh, God. All right. Well, this is almost as bad as talking about Anissa.
I know. We're canceling this movie before it even gets off the ground.
Yeah. We
need a different premise for a challenge movie.
Yeah, what would be the...
Maybe some type of Avengers movie with, an all-star cast.
Okay.
Who's Thanos? TJ?
Yes, of course.
Bonham and Murray?
Okay. Well, who are the Avengers necessarily? Who's in that master shot of them, the camera circling around them and shit? I would have to say, well, we already said CT, Wes, Landon.
But who are they? Is he Iron Man? Is he Captain America?
Oh, shit. Okay, no.
Wes would be Doctor Strange?
He's not an Avenger, really.
Is he Ant-Man?
You don't know the Avengers about that. Well,
I don't. I'm not a big fan.
Why make the comparisons if you don't know? Okay, no, I'm just saying, no, it's fine.
Who's
fine.
Batman?
Who's Batman? Who's the dark brooding challenger?
Zach.
Fuck. Oh my god. Fuck that. This is slowly tearing. Falling apart. Dark and brooding. Who's dark and brooding? No one really. Everyone's really upbeat. If you're dark and brooding, you're not going to be called back to make challenges, right?
Hunter? Is he dark and brooding?
No, he was
angry sometimes. Maybe Bear.
He was dark and southern. Bear.
Oh, come on, Vince. Avengers, it's a thing.
This is all falling apart. Okay. Well, you know what? Fuck Batman. Well, give me another one. Iron Man? No,
Iron
Bananas would be Iron Man because it's technically the richest.
Okay, who's
right?
Captain America?
Captain America. That's Landon.
Landon is Captain
right?
America.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the all-American guy. Or Miz, maybe? No, Miz had a dark side. He had the Miz.
Doctor Strange is Wes. He's all-knowing, super smart.
Okay. All right.
I'll outthink you.
All right.
So that's Wes. CT, he would be like the Hulk, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, is early years.
Jordan, is he Daredevil? He has a handicap, but he's really good, regardless.
All right. I like this. You're naming them all.
Black Panther would be Darrell because he's black and no other reason.
That's the only reason.
And he's really awesome. Darrell. It makes sense.
Okay. Who's Thor? Who's a boring, pompous musclehead? Joss?
No.
I don't know. Hold on. We've named. Okay, who's Scarlet Witch?
Who's that? Is that Captain Marvel? I know her.
Who's Captain Marvel? There you go.
That's Cara Maria.
Is it Cara? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's super awesome, but kind of a bitch.
All right, and then Laurel is the Widow, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson.
Sure, I've never seen it, but I'll take it.
Okay, well
who
then,
is Thanos though? That's a big one. We still gotta figure
who's
out
the ultimate bad guy?
The ultimate bad guy.
Puck. Do you remember Puck?
No. Was it a superhero or a challenger?
It's before your time. He was a challenger. Yeah.
All right. Maybe Thanos is just like Kenny.
Yeah. Don't give him Don't give him 6 diamonds and a toothbrush. That's all I gotta say, right?
Yeah. It's gonna end badly.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the best time to slowly back away and say, like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud
And Hardcore Dave.